As the film commences, a group of college students are seen embarking on a trip from New York to Paris, filled with excitement. However, a particular student named Alex experiences a sense of unease, perceiving his surroundings as if they're trying to communicate something. He notices peculiar clues, such as the receptionist mentioning that his departure time coincides with his date of birth, September 25th at 9:25. Additionally, a song by an artist who died in a plane crash plays at the airport. Despite these unsettling clues, Alex boards the aircraft. Shortly after settling into his seat, two girls approach him, requesting to exchange seats. Alex complies and moves to sit next to his friend Todd, which makes his previous seat available. While seated in this new location, he notices that the lock pin of the seat in front of him is broken. This discovery heightens his confusion and unease, making him want to disembark, but the plane is already taking off. The aircraft ascends, and initial excitement turns to fear as the airplane malfunctions. Passengers become terrified as the plane begins to crack on one side, causing people to fall out. An explosion occurs, engulfing the aircraft in flames, seemingly making everyone on board a target. Suddenly, Alex awakens, realizing it was all a nightmare. However, he questions whether it was merely a nightmare or a premonition, especially when he sees the two girls who wanted to exchange seats standing before him in reality. The two girls are now seen talking about exchanging their seats. Alex, deeply troubled, decides to take the seat next to Todd, the same seat he occupied in his nightmare. Upon taking the seat, he inspects the lock pin of the seat in front of him and discovers that it is indeed broken. This confirms to him that the events of his nightmare are unfolding in reality, indicating that it was not just a dream, but a prediction. Overcome with confusion, Alex shouts, "This airplane is going to be exploded!" His words frighten all the passengers, and a confrontation ensues with his classmate Carter. As a result, both Alex and Carter are forced to leave the airplane, accompanied by some of their classmates. Alex tries to convince everyone that he had a vision of the airplane exploding and that it is bound to happen. Hearing this, Carter gets angry and starts another fight with him, and they get into a dispute. The airplane takes off, and the unbelievable occurs as Alex's prediction comes true when the airplane explodes shortly after takeoff. Everyone stares at Alex in astonishment. The survivors begin to fear Alex due to his accurate prediction. Detectives arrive to investigate the incident, focusing on the survivors, but they particularly suspect Alex. Their suspicion stems from the fact that Alex had predicted the explosion before it even happened. However, lacking any concrete evidence, the detectives are unable to arrest him. Later, the parents of the survivors arrive and take them home. 39 days following the crash, the college commemorates the victims with a memorial day, honoring the 39 lives lost in the tragic event. During the memorial, Todd's father stares at Alex with intense anger, holding him responsible for his son's death. However, Todd was aware that it was not the fault of Alex. Consequently, they were being kept apart from meeting each other. A surviving teacher also displays anger towards Alex, avoiding any interaction with him. In contrast, a girl named Clear, a close friend of Alex, is the only one who believes that Alex is their savior. They consider themselves fortunate, believing that they have managed to escape death. But the question remains, had they truly defeated death? They were mistaken in thinking that they had defeated death, because if one is destined to die, death will find a way, and it will happen at its appointed time. One night, Alex is reading a newspaper when an owl perches on his window. He throws the newspaper to scare it away, but the newspaper gets caught in a fan and is torn into pieces. One of the pieces, bearing the name Todd, flutters down to Alex. This was a sign that death was coming for Todd. Subsequently, Todd is seen in his bathroom. Todd slips on some water, causing a wire to wrap tightly around his neck. He struggles desperately to save himself, but his efforts are futile and he ultimately dies. Alex rushes to Todd's house, but it is too late. Todd's parents believe that Todd has committed suicide. Alex tries to convince them that Todd would never do such a thing. The following day, Alex seeks out Clear, the only one who believes in him. Alex is convinced that Todd's death was not a suicide. Together, they go to the funeral home. There, they encounter a man who confirms that it was indeed not a suicide, because Todd had struggled to remove the wire. The man explains that death doesn't always involve accidents or incidents. It comes in specific forms to claim those who have escaped it. By getting off the airplane, Alex and the others had escaped death, but it didn't mean they were free from it. Todd's death proves that death is plotting against the survivors and that they will meet their end one by one. Alex and Clear discuss this revelation while sitting at a coffee shop. They wonder how they can thwart Death's next plan, as Alex had only defeated Death once. All the survivors coincidentally reunite. Suddenly, a bus strikes Carter's friend. Consequently, everyone becomes deeply upset. They realize that they have not truly escaped death, and that it is still looming over them. Alex is watching the news on TV at night. He learns about the exact location of the explosion on the airplane and the sequence in which it occurred. He reviews the seating arrangement accordingly. This enables him to understand that Todd was the initial target of death. Through his analysis, he realizes the order in which the survivors are destined to die. He notes that Todd and his brother are already gone, aligning with Death's design. Now he understands that his teacher is the next target. He immediately heads to her house, where he sees her peering through the window. Noticing Alex, the teacher wrongly assumes that he has come to harm her. She immediately calls the police. When the police arrive, they find Alex searching for something, and they take him into custody. The police question Alex about his actions. Alex explains everything to them, revealing that his teacher is the next target of Death. The police officers dismiss his claims. However, they lack any evidence against him, so they release him. Meanwhile, the teacher puts on a music player, and it is the same song that was played at the airport. While pouring hot tea into a cup, she spills it in confusion. She then adds ice to the same cup and drinks from it, which causes the cup to crack. She places the cup near her computer, and the liquid leaks onto the computer. Consequently, the computer malfunctions, causing an electrical short circuit. The teacher approaches the computer to inspect it. Suddenly, an explosion occurs. A shard of glass strikes her neck, severely injuring her. The situation worsens as she attempts to grab a cloth that is placed on top of some knives. While reaching for the cloth, a knife stabs into her. Everything is destroyed before Alex gets there. Despite her injuries, Alex tries to find a way to save her life. Suddenly, a chair falls from above, causing the knife to plunge further into the teacher, resulting in her death. In a state of confusion, Alex pulls the knife out of the teacher's body. He realizes that he has put himself in a dangerous situation. At the same time, the gas is turned on. As Alex exits the house, a surviving friend sees him. The house explodes as Alex comes out. Based on the survivor's statement, the police begin searching for Alex. However, Alex is not at his house. Clear is the only one who knows where he is. Accompanied by Carter and the witness who testified against Alex, she goes to find Alex because she wants to know who the next target is. They pick up Alex at a location. They question Alex, but he is unwilling to disclose any information because he believes that there is no point in telling them, and he knows that Carter is the next target. Despite their attempts to stop him, Carter becomes angry, insisting that death is unavoidable, so he would rather die on his own terms. He starts driving the car recklessly. Eventually, he stops the car on the railway tracks. Alex, Clear, and their friend exit the car, but Carter remains inside. The three friends try to persuade Carter to leave the car as a train is approaching. Finally, Carter decides that he does not want to die in this manner. He attempts to start the car, but it is no use. Here, it becomes evident that Death has orchestrated this scenario for him. It seems that Carter is about to meet his end. He tries to get out of the car, but the car door is locked. He struggles to unfasten his seatbelt, but it remains stuck. Carter's time to die has arrived, and he is confronted with Death. However, Alex once again thwarts Death's plan. He rescues Carter, pulling him out of the car. Now that Alex has interfered with Death's design, who will be the next target? It becomes clear that when Death is cheated, it moves on to its next target. But it was too late to know the next target, because the next target was their friend who had accompanied them. The train collides with one side of the car, which in turn hits their friend. The impact severs his neck, killing him. Alex understands that if he interferes with Death's plan and saves someone, Death will bypass the current target and move on to the next. Carter has been saved, leaving Clear and Alex remaining. And the next target was Alex. Alex locks himself inside Clear's cabin and removes the door's strip. He then recalls the seating arrangement once more. He then realizes that he is not the target, but Clear, because Clear was seated in his front seat. Clear is deeply concerned about Alex. She provides the police officers with Alex's address so that they can rescue him. Alex is on his way to rescue Clear. At the same time, the police officers arrive there. Alex quickly evades them because he believes that they cannot help him in any way. Meanwhile, the electrical cord outside Clear's house breaks. Clear goes downstairs to save her dog. Suddenly, the swimming pool water becomes electrified due to the broken electrical cord, and the electrified water starts spreading around. Clear manages to save her dog and climbs up a ladder to protect herself. She gets trapped as she attempts to escape, and she ends up sitting in her car. Simultaneously, Alex arrives at the scene. He rushes to help her. The area around the car has caught fire while the electrical cord is lying on the car. It becomes clear that Death has designed this scenario for Clear's demise. But Alex thwarts Death once again. He removes the electrical cord from the car, and at the same time, Clear exits the car. Subsequently, the car explodes in a massive blast. It appears that Alex has perished in the explosion. 6 months later, the scene shifts to show Clear and Carter embarking on a trip to Paris, accompanied by Alex. This reveals that he had survived. The three of them are living peacefully after cheating Death. Alex realizes that the chain of death has not been broken because he interfered and saved the lives of Carter and Clear. However, no one interferes when it is his time. He believes that his turn is still pending, and he is right. Then a man starts singing the same song that was playing at the airport on that day. Feeling uneasy, Alex begins to leave. Then Clear notices an approaching bus that is about to hit Alex. He is saved from the bus accident. However, the bus collides with a tower, causing damage to a signboard. The signboard is about to collapse, and that signboard was falling on Alex's side. Suddenly, Carter saves him. It appears that Death had plotted this for Alex, but it was thwarted by their intervention. Here, the signboard is shown, moving towards Carter, but it is not clear here. Either Carter is alive or dead. It will be shown in its next part, and this movie part ends here.